3 was 15. That will be 100. B. We know 3 GDP is equal to nominal GDP divided by what? Divided by GDP price index times 100. The nominal GDP was 15 times 30, which was 450. The GDP price index from the table was 300. Okay. 450 divided by 300 times 100 will also give you 100. So this one, let's say that's one of the issues, macroeconomic issues, economic growth, employment, macroeconomic issues. And this chapter is on economic growth. What we study here, we talk about how economic growth is measured and what is relevant. Talk about modern economic growth, determinants of growth, what determines economic growth, what should the country do, and then accounting for growth. What are the most important contributors to economic growth, and then results contribution is growth desirable at the last one. We really need to grow faster. What is the implication of growing faster in our resources? As we grow, we start using resources that need the depletion of resources that is going to affect the future generation. So, should we grow fast or should we grow slow? These are the kind of things that we need to study. First, we need to know what we mean by economic growth. What is it? We measure economic growth using real GDP. We know real GDP, right? What is real GDP? Real GDP is the nominal GDP which is adjusted for price change. Nominal GDP which is adjusted for price change. Or we say real GDP is equal to nominal GDP divided by what? Divided by GDP price index. GDP price index. Okay. So we measure economic growth using a percentage change. Okay. And then we look at the growth as a goal, and we look also what we call the rule of 7. Here. Here we have economic growth is one an increase in real GDP. If real GDP is increasing over time, right? Real GDP is increasing over time, then we say there is economic growth, right? An increase in real growth, also increase in per capita increase in real GDP or an in real per capita GDP. Okay. What is per capita GDP? You remember that, right? Per capita GDP is simply the real GDP divided by what? Capita GDP or per capita or the real GDP per person is simply real GDP divided by what? Divided by population. I think you know wrong. Divided by the population will give us what we call per capita GDP or GDP per person. So we measure economic growth in two ways, right? One is use real GDP and increase in real GDP, or an increase in per capita real GDP. Per capita real GDP is simply real GDP divided by the population. Then when we talk about growth, it is basically a percentage change. It's a percentage change. Say the US economy grew at a rate of 2%, 3%, or 1%, or negative 1%. In other words, the growth rate is measured as what? Percentage change. Okay, as a percentage change in real GDP or a percentage change in per capita rate. All of them are used, but the most commonly used is the percentage change in rate. And we know how to calculate percentage change, right? You know that. How we calculate percentage change is this year minus last year divided by last year times 100. And we have period 1. Let's say this is year 1. Okay, and the year 1, let's just say the real GDP, let's say 3,220. And in year 2, real GDP increased to 3,850. So again, remember, what is the percentage change? And the percentage change, you know how to calculate the percentage change. What is the percentage change from 3,222 to 3,850? That's going to be 3,850 minus what? Minus 3,220 divided by 3,220 times 100. Okay, that is 100, and that is 91.57%. This year's real GDP minus last year, this year's real GDP minus last year's real GDP divided by last year's real GDP times 100 will be 19.5%. This is just a percentage change that you know from high school or yeah. So another way which is not that different, it's not different from here. Another way to get the same percentage change is 3,850 divided by what? 3,220 minus 1. Okay. That will give you 0.1957. In percentage, we could say this is 19.57, which is in a way if I do percentage change. Now, if you want to use per capita real GDP as economic growth, all you need to do is first calculate your per capita real GDP for the same state, right? Now, if we want the growth rate of capita real GDP, and the one we saw was for the real GDP, but if you want to grow the rate of per capita real GDP, we know
real GDP is equal to what? Is equal to real GDP divided by population. First we calculate, we have real GDP, we have the population. First we calculate this per capita real GDP, and then what? Then just follow the same procedure. On the other hand, however, if we have, let's say, if we have the growth rate, or the growth rate is simply a percentage change, this is the growth rate, percentage change of real GDP. Let's say we calculated the percentage change of real GDP, and let's say that is 5%. Suppose we are given that 5%. And then we are given the percentage change of the population, let's say is 3%. We have the number, growth rate of real GDP 5%, and the growth rate of population is 3%. Let's say we know those numbers, right? And then we ask, what is the growth rate of per capita real GDP? In this case, the growth rate of per capita real GDP will be, we put it here, the growth rate of per capita real GDP in this case is going to be 5% minus 3%. 2%. The reason is capital real GDP is the real GDP divided by population increases, right? What will happen to the per capita real GDP goes down? So that's why we subtract from 5%, subtract this 8%, and that's 2%. That is now the growth rate of per capita real GDP. That is what we have in this. The growth rate of real GDP simply is what? Is this or this. So the growth rate of per capita real GDP, either you just get your number for real GDP per capita like that, and then use this formula. On the other hand, if you have the growth rate of real GDP and the growth rate of the population, in that case it is easy. All you need to do is the growth rate or the percentage change in real GDP minus the percentage change in population, so minus percentage change in population will be what? That is going to be the growth rate per capita real GDP. So at this point, what we need is basically that economic growth is measured either as what? Either as a growth rate of real GDP or the growth rate of per capita real GDP. The most commonly used growth rate is the growth rate of real GDP, and that is simply what? A percentage change, nothing new, right? It's just a percentage change of real GDP we give us the growth rate. And then we have what is called this rule of 70. The rule of 70. This is just a rule of thumb. It is not a perfect, but it gives us an idea of what? Approximately how long it takes. How long it takes for variable to death. How long it will take approximately for a given variable to death. But since we are talking about growth rate, since we're talking about real GDP, this rule of 70 tells us how long it will take for real GDP to double. And what is that rule? That rule is simply 70 divided by the growth rate. 70 divided by the growth rate. And now we have growth rate here, and here we years it takes? Okay. Here, the growth rate, let us say, is 2%. How long it will take for real GDP to double? That's going to be 70 divided by 2. That will be what? It will take 35 years to double, roughly. And what if the growth rate is 5%? Which means in that case 17 divided by 5, that will be what? 14 years. Look how big jump, right? From 35 to 14. When the growth rate is only from 2% to 5%, moving forward 35 years, 14 years, there is a compounding effect of the GDP. The other one, okay, this one, I'll ask you this one. If the growth rate is 10%, right, how long it will take for the real GDP to double? 7 years. You can use this also for interest rate for your, let's say you have a certain amount of money in a bank, right? That bank is paying you 2%, right? How long it will take for your money to double? If they pay you 5% interest, how long it will take for your money in the bank to double? That is 70 divided by 5. Growth rate. If you know the growth rate, you can use that to determine how long it will take for a given variable. So as maybe more interest income, or how long it will take for okay. Then just mention one standard of living. There is no perfect measure, right? There is no perfect measure of standard of living in a nation with different index, various indexes. But the one that we use to measure standard of living is simply the per capita real GDP, or real GDP divided by what? Divided by population, right? Divided by population is used as a measure of standard of living. We know that is per capita real GDP. For example, I think I mentioned this in chapter 6, I believe, if the real GDP is growing at 3% and the population is also growing at around 2%, the same, right? Is the standard of living improving in this case? Is the standard of living increasing? Okay? We need to be growing at 3%. Output is growing at 3%, but the population is also growing at 3%. What we are producing is just enough to feed the population. There is no growth in this case. The population is growing at the rate of the real GDP. On the other hand, if the real GDP is growing at 5% and the population is growing at 3%, is our standard of living improving in this case? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Why? Because output is growing at 5%. What we are producing is more than the growth rate of the population, which means we have enough to feed the population and some leftover. There is saving, that's what it says, right? So in this case, if the real GDP is growing faster than the population, then it means that the standard of living is improving, right? The standard of living is improving. Then we have to take this with some conditions, and that is not the only thing that we need to look at. Also, we need to look at the education of the large economy, also the number of workers, 1,000 population, internet connection, all other factors, right, that affect this standard of living. This, we use it as measure, as one measure of the standard of living is simply per capita GDP. When per capita GDP is growing, then we say what? Then we say the standard of living is improving. One thing here, I will come to the table. Okay. let's say in 1950, okay, this one, let's say is in billion. In 1950, the real GDP, okay, here, real GDP in million was 2,291, and the population was 151.77 million. This is population is in million. Okay. So we have what? We have real GDP and we have population in million. Now how do we get the per capita real GDP? Okay. What did we say about the per capita real GDP? We say that it is what? Real GDP divided by what? Divided by population. Real GDP divided by population. Here, real GDP is in billion, and this one is what? In million. So when we divide, we have to have a common unit, the numerator and the denominator. So what we need to do here, we know that 1,000 million is equal to 1 billion, right? So we convert this into a billion and into a million. So all we need to say is 2,291. We just add 3 zeros. Now it is in million, right? 2,291 was in billion. When we add 3 zeros, it is in million. Now we are ready to divide by another million, which is 147, and that is going to give us 15,100. If the total output was to divide by the population of 151.7, each individual will get how much output? 15,100 per capita. The key here is if we are given real GDP in billion and the population in million, we have to convert this into a million simply by adding what? 3 years. So 1,000 million equal to 1. So it's here. Okay, so this is what we say, the economic growth. Here. So economic growth is can be measured in 2 ways. One is using what? Real GDP, and the other one is real GDP per person, right? Real GDP per person, also called per capita real GDP, right? And we say economic growth is simply a percentage change, right? But you know how to do, how to calculate a percentage change, right? This period minus last period divided by last period times 100. And then we talk about what? Rule of 70, right? Rule of 70 is simply what? 70 divided by annual percentage rate of growth, the rate of growth. Okay, we divide the rate of growth, and that will give us what? It will give us how long it will take for that we are able to double. And we have seen that in an example, right? We see for 5%, 10%, we have seen that 2% and so on. Okay, so we did that, rule of 70. And then, this is just a real GDP between 1950 to 2021. Real GDP increased by 3% per year. Real GDP per capita or per person. The same period grew by how much? By 1.9% per year. Since and if each year is increasing 1.9% on average, it means this is compounded, right? It's compounded. And this compounding means bigger improvement in the standard of living, and that has qualification for what? Improved product and goods and services. Over time, the goods and services that are produced in the United States are much better than they used to be. Added leisure. Output is increasing, which we have enough for the population, and then we have leftovers for the receiving. Wealth is increasing. When wealth increases, what happens? You can afford to take vacation, right? People who have many wealth and so on. before, when the economy was not growing so fast, per capita GDP was just existence. People didn't have time to go vacation. Why? Because they have to work all the time in order to just feed their family. That is changing over time. And then you also have other impacts as we would say. And then this is a table I gave you as an example, the 1950, you remember that, right? 2001, 51.7. GDP, we say what? This column is given in billion, the population is given what? In million. So we just need to change this into a million. How do we do that?
Add three
Add
zeros.
3 zeros, right? Just add 3 zeros and we do that. Okay, you can maybe check one number there and see. Okay, would you do for 2,000? What do we do for 2,000? We have what? 2,000? That's the real GDP is 13,138 what? Billion, huh? And the population of how much? Population is 182.4 million, right? So now what we do 17,000 and 1,068, add 3 zeros, and then divide by 22.4, that should give you 46,516. Now look at per capita real GDP in the United States from 1950 to 2021. Look at it. In 1950, how much was it? 15,000, right? Per person. Output per person. Just imagine if the output was to be divided for every person, right? That is how much each person will get. What happened over time? Look, 15, 18, 24, and 21. In 2021, is 58,450 per person that's being regulated, right? And that shows you big improvement, right? In the standard of living, big improvement in terms of education for this one. Okay. Are you okay, guys? Okay. Now let's continue here. The second part is the modern economic growth. Modern economic growth started during the Industrial Revolution. Why modern? What happened before that? Well, before that, the growth of the rate of real GDP was almost the same as the growth rate of the population. And therefore what? And therefore there was no improvement in the standard of living. Right? There was no improvement in the standard of living. That's what. But since the Industrial Revolution, that started in Great Britain, okay, since then, the growth rate of the real GDP outpaced the growth rate of the population, and now we start seeing improvement in the standard of living. Now, what happened during the Industrial Revolution? It talks about the steam engine started, and then also equipment, where and then you have division of labor in factories, you have the railroads, you have ships, you have airplanes, so many that have been developed after the Industrial Revolution that increased productivity and as a result output increased. Right? So modern economic growth basically refers to an increase in per capita real GDP after the Industrial Revolution. After the Industrial Revolution, the economy of steam engine and the factories and airlines, railways, ships, and things like that. So that increased productivity and output started growing faster than the population and the standard of living growth. Okay, so what's the implication of that? One is ongoing increase in living standards. Since output has been growing faster because of these innovations, means the living standards has increased. Real GDP started to grow faster than the population. To grow faster than the population, and then living standard will grow. Time for living. As the economy was growing, income growing, wealth growing, and then people now have what? Time to take off for leisure, take a vacation. I have enough, I said enough. I have to take enough time off and enjoy instead of just working all the time. Before I was working 40 hours, the same people were working 40 hours. Over time, the number of hours we needed to work increased in today 75 hours. So that is for time for people to take what? Leisure. And then there was also this social change. Change. We have socially, most countries experience modern economic growth, abolished feudalism, and they also instituted public education. Okay. And then we have also the eliminated negative social norm of minorities, women, and all that. Those economies that experienced modern economic growth. And then politically, countries that have experienced modern economic growth also moved toward this democracy. Now there is this benefit, right? Added benefit of economic growth. As economic growth faster than population, standard of living increased, time for leisure, cultural improvement, and also moving toward this democracy. And also what? Human lifespan development. People were living shorter. Before, over time, as the economy grew, with the advancement in medicine and all that, human lifespan also improved. Okay. This modern economic growth started first, like I said, in Great Britain, then moved to other parts of Europe, like France, Germany, and then moved to the United States, and you have Australia, Canada, and it's not like all countries experience economic growth at the same time, modern economic growth at the same time, but just spread, right? Spread over time to other countries. Then you see here, began in Great Britain, and then has spread slowly in Europe, America, Canada, and so on. And then there are leader countries. Leader countries are those countries that have experienced modern economic growth earlier, right? The Western economies, right? Britain, then you have America, Australia, and so on. And then there are followers, right? Those countries lagging, you started later. Okay. Is it possible to catch up? Right? Is it possible to catch up with those economies who grew faster at the beginning? The answer is yes. Why? Because leader countries, what? They invented the technology. Leader countries invented the technology. Okay. And then follower countries, what? Instead of inventing, they can adapt to the technology. Which one is harder? Is it inventing or adapting?
I would say inventing. I would say inventing.
Okay. Harder is inventing, huh?
Yeah.
Coming up with a new is always harder than adapting what is existing. It means leader countries have to invent another technology in order to grow. The follower countries use technology that is already available, which means they can grow faster. Right? If follower countries can grow faster than leading countries, then is it possible to catch up? The answer is yes, right? Theoretically, yes. One can look at South Korea, how it was in the 1960s and how South Korea is today. Big difference, right? Theoretically, it is possible for the economists to catch up, or they just use the technologies that with China, how it was in the 70s, 60s, and today, in certain areas, it's surpassing the United States in some cases. So it is possible for follower countries to catch up because follower countries do not have invent a new technology, but they can just use or adapt the technology that already existed. Okay. Okay. For this, we'll stop here, and I'll give you an exercise. Okay. Have your book, right? It's going to be on page 152. Problems, question number 7.